a comfortable seated position, you could sit on the floor, but you can sit on a chair as well with your feet on the ground. So you don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor to do breathing. You can sit anywhere. Straight spine is what we're looking for, and comfortable as well. We don't want to be distracted by any discomfort just from sitting for our breathing. So that's the most important thing, just to find a comfortable spot. And then today's focus is really going to be about bringing our awareness to our breathing and becoming really connected to our own breath, so that we'll be able to identify changes in the breath easily and then have tools to change it. So breathing is really this gift that we have that is free to everybody. You don't need to have any equipment to do it. And it's possible to change our state with our breath. So our breathing is quite importantly linked to the way that we feel, and the way that we can feel, and the way that we can change our state of being. So we have a lot of different techniques, and some of them are for calming, some of them are for balance, some of them are for energizing, and some of them are for transformation. So we have this nerve in our body, and as much as this is a conversation about breathing, it's also a conversation about the vagus nerve. Because the vagus nerve is one of the longest nerves coming down from our brain, and it touches so many organs within our body, communicating with them all the way down to the gastrointestinal tract. And this nerve, it doesn't only send messages from the brain to these organs, but it also sends messages from the organs to the brain. And breathing, which is part of our autonomic nervous system, so it's things that the body just does automatically. So blood pressure, digestion, all those things that you don't think about doing. Breathing is one of them. But the difference with breathing is that we can actually control our breathing. Whereas you can't control other things that the autonomic nervous system does, breathing we can control. And with our breath, we can really send beautiful messages back up to our body and our brain through the vagus nerve. And so that is really how we're going to change our state with our breathing. The vagus nerve is responsible for a relaxation response in our body, and we can change that through our breath. So our first breathing that we're going to do today is just an awareness of breath, and we're going to spend a little bit of time learning how to breathe. So for the awareness of breath, we really want to just bring all our attention to the breath and notice those subtle changes. We want to notice where we're feeling the breath and how we are actually breathing. So on a daily basis, we should be breathing in and out through our nose. Most of the time, you are able to do that, unless you're in exertion for the last final stretches of exercise, or if you're doing an intentional exhale through the mouth. You're going to be breathing through the nose, and that's in and out through the nose. You might find that you actually breathe through the mouth much more than you know that you are doing, but it is really important for general good health to breathe through our noses. So we're going to start with a little bit of awareness of breath. You can keep the eyes open to begin with if you like, or you can close the eyes, but maybe for the beginning bit of our practice where you might have to watch me a little bit, you can keep the eyes open. Otherwise, just know that when I'm explaining something, I might be demonstrating it, and if you don't know exactly what I'm saying, then you are welcome to open the eyes. And the only reason why we close the eyes is because we're blocking off the distraction from the sense of sight. So it just helps with that relaxation. All right, so we're going to start by bringing awareness to our noses. And we're going to breathe in and out through our nose. So as you are breathing in and out through the nose, don't change anything else about the breath. Just breathe in and out through the nose as you are right now. And I want you to feel that breath in and out through the nose. Feel the air going in through the nose. See if you can feel it maybe going down into the chest. And then notice if you're breathing high up in the chest and if it's shallow. Notice if it's easy or if it's a little bit challenging. And just focus on that for now without changing anything else right now. Just breathing as you are, but breathing in and out through the nose. Notice if your breath is faster or slower. And we notice all these things with curiosity and no judgment. So we're just observing these things, just making a mental note of these things. How's our breath today? Does it feel soft and creamy and smooth, or does it feel a little bit rough, a little bit more challenging, like you really have to make an effort to breathe through the nose? Maybe your nose is blocked, maybe your sinuses feel clogged up. Still breathe through the nose if you can. Just keep breathing as I talk and breathing through the nose. So if you have a blocked nose or sinus, obviously feel free to stop and blow your nose whenever you need to. But with practice and intention of breathing through the nose, you'll find that this really helps with the sinus. It really helps with that blocked nose. So when we're breathing through the nose, we want to feel the breath in our body as well. So start to take your breath a little bit deeper. And when I say deeper, I don't mean a big gulp of air. I mean a longer inhale. And a longer, slower exhale. Keep your tongue on the palate behind the teeth. That does help slow down the breathing. It also keeps your tongue in your mouth and prevents it from softening back and blocking off some of the airways. So the tongue is just gently pushing on the palate behind the teeth. Maybe you're noticing as you're trying to slow the breath down that you maybe automatically are feeling a little calmer already. Some of our breathing techniques have almost instant effects. The one breath that we'll do later is one that you can use for an almost instant calming effect. So keep breathing in and out through the nose. Keep it a long inhale and a long exhale. You might notice at the top of your inhale, there's a slight and automatic pause. Just observe it. Just notice there's a slight pause. And you might find the same at the bottom of your exhale, that there's a slight pause. Just rest gently in that pause. You don't have to extend it. You don't have to make a big thing about it. Just be aware of it. Soften into it. Allow it. Don't hold your breath at that pause. Just softening into that pause. Breathing in and out through the nose. And now keep with that rhythm of the breathing. And I want you to take your awareness to your chest. So the chest should be expanding as you breathe in. If you like, you can bring your hands to the ribs. And as you're breathing in, feel the ribs expand out to the front. And as you breathe out, feeling them softening back down. At the same time that you're feeling your chest expanding as you breathe in, obviously that's because you're filling the lungs with air and they're taking up more space. And as they take up more space, your main muscle of breathing, your diaphragm, which is a dome-shaped muscle underneath the lungs, is going to need to push down to create space for the lungs. And as it pushes down, your tummy is going to have to extend. So as you breathe in, you're going to feel your chest and your tummy expanding. So if you like, you can take one hand to the chest and one hand to your tummy and breathe in and feel the chest and the tummy expand. And if you don't feel the tummy expand, I want you to push your tummy out. And as you breathe out, you're feeling the tummy sink in and the chest soften back. So we not only have our chest expanding out to the front when we breathe, we also want to feel our ribs expanding out to the sides. So maybe you want to bring your hands to your ribs at the sides of your body, if you can get your hands there. And as you breathe in, I want you to feel the ribs expanding out to the sides. So keep breathing in and out through the nose, letting the chest and the tummy expand and feeling the expansion of the ribs out to the side. If you've never breathed intentionally, you might have to work at this a little bit. Maybe the ribs are not really expanding out to the side. So I want you to play with this feeling of taking your chest out, your tummy out, and your ribs out to the sides. So maybe the breathing's feeling like a little bit of hard work right now. We're really just drawing a lot of attention to the mechanics of this breathing so that you are breathing really effectively for your body. You don't always have to have the chest and the tummy monitored. Eventually, it's going to become part of how you breathe intentionally in any case. But this is just to bring awareness to it, and you're welcome whenever you start a practice to do that. Bring your hand to the heart and the tummy and bring your hands to the ribs and just feel the breathing as you come into your breathing practice. Eventually, with time, you don't need to bring the hands there to feel it. You'll be able to feel it on your own. And although I say push the tummy out, we don't want a soft, floppy tummy. We're using a little bit of your abs as you breathe, as you extend the tummy. And as you exhale, you can actually pull the tummy in a little bit, feeling your tummy working a little bit. And at the same time, as you exhale, really pulling the diaphragm up. So this would be for your intentional breathing. It wouldn't be your breath that you do all day, every day. This is when we sit down and we start focusing on the awareness of breath. In our everyday life, we're breathing in and out through our nose. You are going to be expanding the chest and the tummy, and you are going to bring some awareness to it when you remember to. But it'll become a habit. It'll become what you do. One of the beautiful things about having your hand on your heart, though, is actually making that heart-brain connection. So although this is not the main intentions of this breathing, that heart-brain connection is really a beautiful intention and a beautiful practice, because our heart sends more messages to our brain than our brain sends to our heart. Our heart has brain-like cells, believe it or not, which send messages to the brain. Okay, so they're called sensory neurons. So we really should listen to the heart. So having your hand on the heart while you're breathing helps you to connect to how you're really feeling. It helps you to make some heart-brain coherence. So it is a really good practice to do as well when you begin your breathing. maybe at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, you start to practice just this awareness of breath. And it's quite a good idea to bring your hand to your heart so that you really connect to how you feel. It's really connecting your heart and your brain so you can feel a little more deeply into the body. But you can bring your hands down to your knees or your lap or anywhere that they're comfortable when you're breathing like this, and just keep your focus on your breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Feeling the chest and the tummy expanding as you breathe in and softening down as you breathe out. Taking that breath as long and deep as you can. And if you notice that while you're breathing, you tightening up your throat or you lifting up the shoulders, we want to see if we can soften that. So the only muscles we're using are, as I mentioned, the abs and the diaphragm. And we're not using any of the accessory muscles in breathing. This is often where we hold tension. So let's just take our attention to the shoulders, to the throat, and notice if they're moving up and moving down, if you're tightening as you exhale, if you're lifting the shoulders as you inhale. Just bring your awareness there and notice what the body is doing. And if you're lifting the shoulders as you inhale, and if you're tightening the throat as you exhale, see if you can soften that. So soften the shoulders down, soften the shoulders down. Maybe moving the head a little bit on the neck as you soften. If your eyes are closed and you want to open your eyes and just see what I'm doing, you're welcome to bring a little bit of movement into the breath right now. Moving the head, moving the shoulders. You can open the chest by pulling the shoulders back and lifting the chin, and then dropping the chin to the chest on the exhale. So you just move through some loosening. And then when you're feeling really soft and comfy, you can drop the shoulders again and notice if maybe you're not lifting the shoulders and tightening the throat as much. Noticing if you're finding a little more softness in this breath than when we started. Maybe the breath feels smoother. And if you find you're thinking about a million things while you're breathing and your focus is not on the breath, just become aware of that and bring your mind back to the breath. So we're really breathing consciously. In and out through the nose. Feeling the breath effortless. Allow the breath to breathe you. Knowing that this is such a fundamental of life itself. Now, breath is life itself. We enter this world with an inhale, and we leave this world with an exhale. And in between that inhale and that exhale, we live our lives. This beautiful life-giving breath, just allow this breath to breathe you. Inhaling and exhaling. Softening into each breath. And softening into that pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. Perhaps noticing how the body is responding to this breath as you're breathing in and out through the nose. Perhaps noticing any emotions. Observing your thoughts and bringing them back to the breath without following that thought and making a story up around it or time traveling with that thought. Just be one with your breath. As you allow yourself to be breathed. This beautiful gift of the breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. Finding a softness in the breath and a stillness in your breath. As you breathe in and out through the nose. Nowhere to go, nothing else to do. Just resting in this beautiful breath. This breath that is able to change our state, that gives us the power to make a choice of how we choose to respond to something rather than react. Of how we choose to take control of our body. This breath that can bring us health, that can bring us peace. As you breathe in and out through the nose. And on the inhale, just enjoy that life-giving breath. And on the exhale, allow yourself to softly, with compassion, let go of anything from the week, from the day, from the breath that you might be holding on to, or that maybe is holding on to you. As you breathe with openness, breathing with gratitude and love for yourself, honoring yourself for choosing to have joined here today. To learn about this beautiful gift of the breath. Keep breathing in and out through your nose for a couple more breaths. Feeling where this breath is taking your body and your mind as you breathe. Softly, deeply, smoothly. Maybe feeling and finding things within you that you were not noticing because you were disconnected from this breath, from your heart. And taking another breath in through the nose and out. And we're going to start breathing. We remember breathing in and out through the nose. So let's just take an inhale and an exhale to start, and I will start counting on the next inhale. So taking a breath in through the nose and exhale through the nose. And breathing in, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Breathing out, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Breathing in, 2, 3, pause, 2, 3. Breathing out, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Breathing in, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Breathing out, 2, 3, and pause, 2, 3. Breathing in and pause. And releasing and pause. Breathing in and pause, resting in that pause and release, long and slow, and pause. Breathing in and pause and release and pause. Breathing in and pause and release and pause. Breathing in and pause Breathing out. And pause, taking it up to 4 this time. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, and pause, resting in that pause, softening down the shoulders, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and pause, 2, 3, 4, and releasing, letting it all go, using the diaphragm, and pause, 2, 3, 4, breathing in, and pause, and release, and pause, and in, and pause, and release, and pause, and in, and pause, and release, and pause. We're going to be taking it up to 5 this time. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pause, resting in that pause, softening the shoulders, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pausing. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, resting in the pause, 3, 4, 5, and releasing, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pause, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you rest in this pause, soften the shoulders. Don't hold in it as stress. As release, 2, 3, 4, 5. And softly rest in this pause, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. And pausing, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release, 2, 3, 4, 5. And pause, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in and pause and release and pause. And breathing in and pause. Breathing out and pause. Breathing in and pause. Breathing out and pause. Last time as you breathe in and pause and out and pause. And easing back into regular breathing in and out through the nose, keeping your eyes closed and resting in the after effects of this breath. We breathe there for about 8 minutes or so in this box breathing. So just notice how the body feels now, how your mind feels now. Ideally, we would like to do this breath 10 minutes a day. One can do it for 10 minutes morning and evening. Really, really good for you. And as we are doing those breath holds at the top and the bottom of the breath, we're building our carbon dioxide tolerance in the body. And with that, we are actually allowing our bodies to absorb more oxygen. Sounds counterproductive, but that's how it is. Because our body is holding on, and it gets to some point in that hold where your body says, release the oxygen that is still left in the blood. So we really want to allow ourselves at least 10 minutes a day, if you can find this time, for the square breathing. We also want to try and take it to a long hold. So push yourself a little bit. See if you can hold it for longer without stress. If you are pushing it a little bit, if you are holding for longer than you would normally have held, hold for as long as you can until you feel like you want to take a new breath. And then maybe hold it for a fraction more, and then exhale or inhale. So you'll find, but we want to keep this even. So you'll base it probably on your exhale, your pause after the exhale, because that is a shorter pause than after an inhale. So you would only be able to hold it as long as that one. So when you're holding the breath in the pauses, if you find that you tense up, just gently move the head. You can nod the head if that works for you, or you can gently move the head side to side. It releases some of that tension of holding. The next breath that we're going to be doing today is bumblebee breath, which is also really, really good for anxiety. So the breath is what is important here for the COVID. The blocking off of the senses helps with anxiety and relaxation. So this is a really, really good breath to do for people who feel a panic attack coming on. They can immediately go into this breath. Really, really helpful. And any other form of anxiety. So this is a calming breath that we're doing. So when we block off the sense of sight, your eyes are closed, you're going to use your index and middle finger and gently rest them over your eyes. If you like, you can put a little bit of pressure on the eyes, but not much. And then we're blocking off in front of the ears. You're just going to use your thumb and gently block off in front of the ears to cut off some of the sense of hearing. So taking away any stimulus from outside is really helpful for the anxiety. The breath that we're going to be doing is breathing in through the nose and humming out through the mouth. Your tongue will rest on the palate behind the teeth, and you will hum out using your diaphragm to really help push the air out, making a really nice hum. So don't be afraid of the sound you're going to make. Some people are a bit self-conscious about making sounds that we're not familiar with. Just go for it. I often recommend people do this in their car without the blocking of the senses, of course. We can't drive like that. But because very often when we take a trip somewhere in Windhoek or Swakopmund, we're going to be driving for 5-10 minutes. And so this is really a perfect time to be practicing, because we should be practicing this breath 10 minutes a day at least as well. So one can do it in the car, just the humming. So a hum is for the whole of the exhale. So it'll differ in length of time for each of us, because we've all got a different exhale. And I want you to feel the vibration in the chest. You might feel it in the neck, you might feel it in the nose, it might be different for each of us. And I want you to be really aware of where you feel this humming. So we are actually making a sound. And why are we humming? When we breathe in and out through our nose, as opposed to breathing through our mouths, which is insanely unhealthy. When we breathe through our noses, we increase nitric oxide production in our nasal cavity and our sinus. Now, our body never ceases to amaze me. Inside our nasal cavities and inside our sinus, we have our own little nitric oxygen factory. And nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, the main benefit for us today, because we're doing this breathing for COVID, is the antiviral and antibacterial properties it has. When you breathe through the nose, you breathe in, you produce nitric oxide, which then you breathe into your body. Brilliant. And this has been tested, when you hum, you really spike that production of nitric oxide. That's why we hum. Okay. Beautiful. It's quite incredible to me. So hopefully it's incredible to you as well. So it's going to sound like this. For as long as your breath goes. And it's going to look like this for us today. Until you've reached the end of that exhale. My tongue is tingling. You might find your tongue tingles as well. So notice where it is today. You'll also notice on some days, your hum is wavery. Some days it's smooth. Some days it's stronger. So we're going to do a little bit of that now. Okay. We'll do 3 of those. And then I'll check in with you. And then we'll do another. So you're going to take your index and middle finger, close your eyes, and bring them over your eyes. They can just rest in front, or you can rest them gently on the eyelid. You're going to use your thumbs to block in front of the ears, and we're going to take a breath in through the nose and hum. When you finish that hum, you'll do another 2. So starting with the breath in through the nose. So when you have done your 3, you can break for a moment. So we're going to go into another 5 more of those bumblebee breaths. I'm wanting you to be very aware of all the sensations and the feelings that you can feel in the body. On which side is it even? And we'll look back into that after the session. So taking the hands over the eyes, thumbs in front of the ears, take a breath in through the nose. After you have done your 5, you can slowly release the hands down. You can keep the eyes closed if you like, as you just bring the breathing back to normal, in and out through the nose, and noticing the effects of this bumblebee breath. Notice how the body feels. Perhaps you notice any subtle changes in the body, in the mind, in the emotions. Any thoughts, any feelings, any sensations. As you notice them with kindness and compassion to yourself, notice them with curiosity and not judging any of them. Just observations to learn, to support yourself. Notice your breath. Notice the chest and the tummy rising and falling as you breathe. So keeping your eyes closed, unless you need to watch me when I start speaking. into a little bit of a double exhale. So breathing in for a count and breathing out for double that count. And as we breathe out, we're not going to be breathing out through our nose this time. We're going to breathe out through pursed lips, as though you're breathing out through a straw, or as though you're gently blowing out a candle. And it's going to be really soft and slow breath. So you want to make it quite a quiet breath, not a forceful breath. So breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, breathing out through pursed lips. Breathing in, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Taking it up, breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, out. Breathing in, releasing long, gentle, slow and soft, forcing that air with that long exhale. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time, breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Breathing in and out again through the nose, softly, gently, and slowly. Resting in the effects of that breathing, both the humming bumblebee breath and this double exhale through pursed lips. This double exhale through pursed lips that we did is the one that I mentioned earlier that can have an immediate relaxation response in the body. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling highly stressed, this is the breath to turn to. You can bring your hand to your heart as you do it as well, helping to bring that heart-brain coherence and slowing down our heart rate. And so you will be breathing in and out slowly and deeply, exhaling through the mouth, slightly pursed lips. Then I will leave you to have a beautiful rest of your day. And I thank you very much for joining me here today in our very first online breathwork session for the Mindfulness Institute of Namibia. And I'm really, I'm honored to be able to share the breath with you. So thank you so much for joining me here today.